your daily updates. Newsman Dennis Daily offers his take on the events of the day in another daily video blog.
Mention the movies to a lot of people and they'll immediately say Hollywood, which they should. But a lot of people forget that one of the funniest and best-loved movies ever filmed was made in part here in the Coachella Valley. And the exciting seat-of-your-pants beginning was filmed right here. And if this windy section of road, which is still fun to drive today, looks familiar, it should. It's the Pines to Palms Highway, California 74 south of Palm Desert. It's where Mad World began, and where Jimmy Durante, as escaped convict Smiler Grogan, went off a cliff. And then many of the Hollywood stars who happened to be behind Jimmy Durante's car when it went off the cliff, those stars stop, the men go down into the ravine and try to help Durante. But instead, he kicks the bucket. But before that, he manages to tell them about the loot he stole and the loot he hid under something called the Big W. So after the police leave, the characters start on their own car chase across California, trying to be the first to find the Big W. And after the filming up on the Seven Curves was finished, Stanley Kramer took his cast and crew down into the Coachella Valley for more filming. But some of the technicians stayed to a point just below that mountain. Here we are at the intersection of 74 and Indian Hills, smack dab in the middle of a luxury housing development. But in Mad World, nothing was out here. And this is where the technicians built and then destroyed a gas station that played a major part in the movie. And here at Bel Air Road in the 74, they shot the famous Jonathan Winters on the little girl's bicycle scene. And today, this is a busy stretch of 4-lane Bob Hope Drive just south of Gerald Ford. But back in 1962, when It's a Mad World was filmed, this looked as if it was, and it really was, out in the middle of nowhere. And this is where Jonathan Winters made that sloppy left-hand turn. But he wouldn't be able to do that if the movie were filmed here today, for this is the intersection of Ramon and Bob Hope, and the cars came across the railroad and turned here back when this was just an intersection of 2-lane roads, and there was no Agua Caliente casino there. So now you can't cut the corner, can you? And while director Stanley Kramer was using all of those locations in the Coachella Valley, in and around Palm Springs and other desert cities, particularly in stretches of highway that are now very urban, but back then seemed to be out in the middle of nowhere, he was also taking his Hollywood stars to other points about 90 minutes from Los Angeles, meaning they could get back to the studios to do other filming and come out to places such as Soledad Canyon. And does that tunnel look familiar to you? It's the filming site where a Jeep, supposedly driven by Terry Thomas with Milton Berle on board, goes through and crashes on the other side, about where I'm standing. And no, this hasn't changed very much. It still looks basically the same as it did in the movie, although now there's traffic, and of course they had it pretty well blocked off and were using their own stunt cars. But you know, there are only so many cases in Mad World where you needed a desolate rural area like this. For much of the ending of the movie was filmed in an urban setting. And so the producers knew that everybody knew what downtown Los Angeles looked like, but very few people had seen downtown Long Beach. No, downtown Long Beach might not look like downtown Los Angeles, but this part of Long Beach Boulevard doesn't look much like it did when Mad, 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 Mad World was filmed in the 1960s. The tracks now run down the center of Long Beach Boulevard. Many of the old buildings are missing, and many of the buildings have changed storefronts and names. But this was where some of the most exciting parts of the downtown car chase were filmed. But sometimes it's impossible to find any trace of the old buildings that were used as sets in downtown Long Beach. After the movie was filmed quite near where we just were, 4 square blocks were demolished to build an inner-city shopping center, including the area where the hardware store was, where they got trapped in the basement.
Come on. Oh, no, we're closed. It's 12 o'clock. It's 12 o'clock, you're closed. Wait a minute.
So, what happened to that area? Well, the hardware store used to be at 5th and Locust, but 5th and Locust does not exist as an intersection anymore. If you were to go into that hardware store, you'd be in the lobby of this Walmart. And the building in Long Beach where they shot the high exteriors of Spencer Tracy on the roof was this building. But this was not the building used in the movie as the building. And over the years, the fans of It's a Mad, 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 Mad World have driven a lot of miles to retrace the steps of the actors and the technicians. And it's more than just going through the Coachella Valley or to Soledad Canyon or coming to Long Beach. It's going to some pretty far-flung parts of California, including wine country and the Kern River Valley. But all of those scenes were put together into one cohesive, very funny movie. Eventually, though, everybody starts looking for the big W.
Why, that's it! Sure! Look! It's the big W, I tell you! It's the big W!
And where is it? Well, it's along the Pacific coast in an area that back in the 60s was really out in the middle of nowhere. It's called Rancho Palos Verdes, and you have to look on a map. It's about 90 minutes south of Los Angeles, the perfect hideaway where they spent an awful lot of money building a set and spending most of a week filming there, looking for the treasure under the big W on the shore of the Pacific coast. Wow, what a movie, what a trek around California. And it all began back in the Coachella Valley when that car went off the road on that great big curve. I'm Dennis Daly with your Daily News Update.